Okay, we're here at Paul Revere Middle School, and everyone's seen the famous footage of OJ and the family here during Sydney's recital. It all took place in this area here. This is it. I believe they were standing somewhere in this area there, by the fencing, by the wrought iron there. Cato Kalin.
What was the very next time you saw the defendant that day?
I believe it was after the recital.
About what time was that?
I'm guessing about 6:30, 7, around there. The exact time I don't know, but I think it's about...
Around 7?
Yeah, the playoff games ended. That's all, I remember that.
And what playoff game was that?
Houston and the Knicks. But it was after that. It's about 6:37.
Do you have a conversation with the defendant?
Yes.
About what?
I asked how the recital was, and how Sydney was, and she was great.
Is that what he said? She was great?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yes, she was great.
You have to say yes and no, because this lady does not have a button for mm-hmm. Okay?
You should get one.
Hey, what was the defendant's mood like at that point, about 7 o'clock?
Not upbeat, not downbeat. I thought he was tired.
Did he seem relaxed?
Yes.
Make any mention of Nicole?
At the second conversation?
Yes, at about 7 o'clock. Did the defendant mention anything to you about Nicole?
That you saw her at the dance recital.
And what else did he say?
That her and a friend, they were wearing tight outfits.
And
it was...
Make some mention about that? Make some comment about that?
It was a comment of being able to dress that way when they're older.
And what was his tone of voice? Was it angry?
No.
What was it?
Kind of matter of fact.
What was he saying? He wondered how they'd look in those outfits when they got older?
Yes.
Was that it? I'm asking you.
Oh, it was the exact wording I don't know was if they're going to be grandmas, they can't wear those outfits, something like that. So, when they're older.
Okay. So you spoke to the defendant for how long at that point?
I don't know the exact how many minutes. About a half hour.
Okay. What happened after that?
I asked if I could take a jacuzzi.
And did he say yes?
Yes.
Did you do that?
Yes.
And for how long did you stay in the jacuzzi?
I stayed in there about a half hour.
Had you ever used the jacuzzi before?
No.
Was that the first time?
Yeah, I mean, I swam in it once before, but I never actually used it, sat in it to use it.
How long did you stay in the jacuzzi?
I think it was about a half hour.
So you got out about when?
I think when I got out of there it was about 8:30. About.
And after you got out of the jacuzzi, what did you do next?
I made a phone call.
To who?
To a friend named Susan.
And while you were on the phone, did you have contact, when you were on the phone with Susan, did you have contact with someone else?
No, I don't think it was.
Did you see the defendant while you were on the phone with Susan?
No. I think it was after he came to my room.
The defendant came to your room?
Yes.
And what did he say to you?
That I forgot to turn the jacuzzi off.
And by that time, were you still on the phone with Susan? Or had you hung up?
I think I hung up.
And what did the defendant say to you?
To remember to turn off the jacuzzi next time I use it. And he asked me if I was done with the jacuzzi, and I said, yes, I'm done. Sorry, I didn't turn it off.
And did you come out of your room to say that to him? To have that conversation?
I was at my doorway, I believe.
Where was he?
Outside the door.
How many feet away were you from each other?
I think 3 feet.
Did you notice any injury to his hands or that he was bleeding from his hands in any way?
No.
Was there anything unusual about his behavior at that time?
No.
And we do know that Nicole had a party of 10 that were on their way to Mezzaluna, the restaurant where Ronald Goldman worked. They had reservations at 6:30. They showed up about 6:45. Party of 10 was seated inside, and Ronald Goldman, upon seeing that it was Nicole and her party, he said he didn't want to wait on the table because he knew her. So a waitress by the name of Tia Gavin waited on the table. During Tia Gavin's testimony, she addressed that the party of 10 arrived between 6:45 and 6:50, and that Nicole was wearing the short black dress with a black blazer over it. The check was closed out at 8:18. Tia Gavin testified that it was between 8:30 and 9 o'clock that the party left. We do know that Judy and Louis Brown left on the San Vicente side of the restaurant, and that's where she dropped her prescription glasses in the street, and they took off back to Dana Point. That is the location, the former location of Mezzaluna. Now it's something else. It has been a few things over the years, but that's where Ron Goldman worked and where Nicole and the family came night of the murders. Nicole, the kids, and Sydney's friend named Rachel Berman walked across the street and went to Ben & Jerry's Ice Cream and got some ice cream. Traffic is pretty loud here on San Vicente, but here's the location of where Ben & Jerry's was, Suite 101, where Nicole and the kids and Sydney's friend Rachel Berman came after they ate at Mezzaluna. They walked into this right here, got some ice cream, and took it home.